Now, Kenya joined the Africa Union, and Africa Union, or the OAU then, Kenya joined it immediately. So the Africa Union adopted a resolution for the universal health care. They deemed it right that, you see, all Africans at least get, especially the primary health care, for free. There is nothing wrong because all countries in Africa have either adopted the universal healthcare system or are working towards attaining that objective. Our neighbors Tanzania already have a universal healthcare system of theirs. They adopted a system that you work for them on the other end. And equally, we have not been able to register any dissatisfaction by our brothers and sisters who are citizens of Tanzania. Why? Because their system was well crafted in a manner that suits their own case. Now, let me tell you how the Kenyan system was crafted. Completely, there is nothing wrong. All our parliamentarians did nothing wrong by passing the universal health care. There was nothing wrong the parliamentarians did. Let us be very candid. They did the right thing by passing the bill on matter touching on the universal health care. It was okay because the bill was talking about the government using its resources, its state resources, to finance the healthcare system of the country. And it was good because the primary healthcare, as intended, or the system itself, was not to have serious financial implications on the subscribers of the scheme. Now, the Auditor General gave a verdict. I want to call it a verdict. It's not a report. It is a verdict because it makes sense even arithmetically. Now, if I don't know, is it 207 billion that could not be accounted for under the SHA-SHIF? Then it leaves a lot to be decided, because we have a system that is paid for by the taxpayers. The system of SHA or SHIF was procured using the taxpayers' money. The Auditor General reveals that the SHA-SHIF is a system that is not originally Kenyan, and then those who have subscribed into it, their monthly deductions go to some offshore accounts. That is the reality. That when a Kenyan citizen pays for SHA or SHIF, the money does not go to the government of Kenya. What does it tell you? If the Auditor General of Kenya tells you that the money that is channeled to SHA by Kenyans does not find its way into the coffers of the government, brings the question, why was it paid for by the taxpayers' money? That's the first question. Why is it paid for by the taxpayers' money? If at all we were not buying a system that was to be owned by the government of Kenya. Number two, it brings you to the second lie, that what the president has been saying, that the social health authority is covered for by the government, is a lie. Why am I saying this? If a Kenyan like myself pays for the SHA or SHIF, that money does not find its way into the coffers of the government. It finds its way into a third party somewhere out of this republic. It renders the question, who then owns this SHA software? Number two, who owns the registration platform of SHA? It renders the questions, who owns that? Now, if you look at the structure of SHA itself, you're going to ask yourself several questions. SHA has got a lot of inadequacies, touching on policy, touching on matriculation of employees, because there's an issue with how SHA does its onboarding, touching on the people living with disabilities. There are cases to also, do with emergency cases in hospitals are not being well taken care of in terms of funding and every other thing. So you're going to realize that there is a systematic problem in SHA that was even observed in the Adani scandal. Remember the Adani scandal, there was a clause of the contract which stated that in case of any suit should be channeled to a court in London. Now, the same thing applies into the SHA. The system is not being managed by the Kenyan government. Number two, the money channeled by the hustlers themselves, the Kenyan people, the Wanjikos, is channeled to a third party, not to the government of Kenya. And that's why I've said it is now therefore impossible for the government to, take its own finance and send to SHA, because they are not managing SHA. They are not managing this system. So it completely means that the SHA system and the SHIF system in Kenya have been fine-tuned to ensure that there is an embezzlement scheme. Because it cannot happen like this deliberately. Look into the SHA systematic issues. The Auditor General said that the SHA system, they used, or the Ministry of Health used what is called the special procurement plan to execute some of the purchases that took place and every other thing. You are going to realize that under the SPP program, this is a case that do not find itself into the National Assembly. Again, we are being told that there are some policy issues that have not been well taken care of to ensure that SHA is working. Then it raises the question, if we have pending policy issues, why then do we decide to implement it? we also have to direct this to the doorsteps of the Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya, who should be able to tell us now, number one, what was the Attorney General's position when this SHA was being rolled down? There must be a legal department under SHA, under the Ministry of Health, that should have warned of legal implications that were coming. This is the same SHA-SHIF that the CS for Health could not convince the senators satisfactorily, because the system used 70 billion Kenyan shillings to do a training, or rather retooling, for the staffs. Now, if you look at the scope of work, zero. If you look at even the strategic plan, zero. Every other focus is centered around some pecuniary or imaginary embezzlement. That is the reality of what takes place. So again, you're going to realize that there must be internal auditors under the Ministry of Health. Now, who is the senior accounting officer, or rather senior most in this Department of Health? We have the PS for Health, who has not been able to give anything that is satisfactorily convincing to the people about this SHA-SHIF system. If this system is fine-tuned to work for Kenyans, why is it that the government decided to get into a contract for a system that they cannot change until after 10 years? I think William Ruto is not ignominious of this. He knows, as a PhD holder, that indeed there were some implications. And when SHA-SHIF is not working, you get to hear from other members of the clergy who claim that they do not want politicking about SHA or SHIF. Let me clear the air. You look into what really is happening in our country today, in as far as health is concerned, then you're going to ask yourself several questions, because it appears that the President of the Republic of Kenya, William Ruto, has built more churches than schools and hospitals. Maybe because churches have got the energetic population that is above the age of 18. These are potential voters. But again, you come to realize that there is an association that brings together faith-based hospitals in our country. So faith-based hospitals are hospitals that are run by these churches. We have so many churches that run several hospitals. Now, if a member of the clergy decides to now come and join the political side of it and say, for example, that they are going to stop people. We had an event just the other weekend in Kenya, 2 different locations, 2 different personalities, but these are Kenyans at the same time, all about the matter of SHA and SHIF. And this is where we have to cut the link. There is a difference between politics and informing the people, because the people can get thirsty that they only want the truth. We saw Njeri Maina, I think the women rep for Kirinyaga or Muranga. She was at a burial ceremony, decided to now address the issues of SHA and SHIF, majorly on its inadequacies. And immediately, the bishop that was presiding over the burial decided to now, you see, warn the women rep to now stop politicking. That was in Kirinyaga, Mount Kenya. What happened? The mourners decided to become very angry and hostile to the bishop, such that the bishop had to leave the mourners, who were so much charged. The same day, in a different funeral in Kakamega, a senator, the president was there, but a senator decides to take to the podium praising the SHA and SHIF. And the mourners there shut him down. Also there we had bishops who could now not go and take the microphone from the Mr. Politician. What does this tell you? It tells you that, number one, most of these so-called religious leaders have decided to become too political. Of course, politics is dirty, and anyone who engages in it must become dirty either, spiritually, or you must be dirty, because politics is dirty. With that understanding that we have faith-based hospitals that are complaining about the challenges in SHA and SHIF, and a grown-up pastor decides to now dissuade people, or rather chastise people for speaking the truth. Who are the end users of, or who are the naysayers at a time when the healthcare system is working in a country? It is the people. Who are the naysayers when the health system is not working in a country? It's the people. Because people go to hospitals. So if you I find a greater hypocrisy in men of the cloth who are doing this. We saw the pastor in Nairobi, the Jesus Winner Ministry. The land itself belongs to KDF. He wants the church to be constructed there. And finally, the president goes there and gives a pecuniary of 20 million, promising to dangle some more in the next phase, 100 million. The problem is not with the giving itself. The problem is the culture and nature of our society today. Look into our country, Kenya, a situation where the government has decided to build a house in Mombasa, of which they are going to take the Kenyan people intending to go and work in Saudi Arabia, so that they see the picture, the real picture of Saudi Arabia in Kenya. Look at that myopic understanding of a government whose own optimism is to win the next general election. Again, you ask yourself, then why did a country like China decide to have invested much into their youth? Because they knew that these are the strengths of the society. They are able to revolutionize every other discipline with their levels of know-how. Their technical and the technical ability of the Chinese is beyond reproach. They decided to use their population as a blessing. But when we decide to use our population as a curse, this is the situation where we make our beloved citizens fall for anything. Look at jobs. Saudi Arabia, housekeeping jobs, house servants, the maids, the gardeners. I think these are jobs that Kenyans can do from Kenya. I'm not saying they are important, they're less important jobs. No, they are important, fine. But these are jobs that Kenyans can do here. Look into it. A P2 that should be retailing at 22 shillings in Kenya is going for 200 shillings. And then we're being told that healthcare is expensive in Kenya. Healthcare is not that much expensive. It will never be that much expensive. Trump, with all his, reform agenda, has decided not to repeal the Obamacare. He's not doing away with the Obamacare. Why? Because it is a system that is having the chances of bringing a healthcare revolution in America. It is working for them. William RUTO, we cannot live on pecuniaries alone. And again, maybe this is one of the things. These are one of the things that might be fixed on now by the broad-based kind of a system, because we know Raila and the team, they're very astute and they know much more about the branding and every other thing as they continue in their own concomitance. And I think these are things that will take shape as we move on.